All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to decode one of the single most important numbers in your entire home buying journey. It's a number that most people honestly don't think about enough, but it can literally open the door to your dream home or, well, quietly shut it.
You know the feeling, right? You've spent weeks, maybe even months, scrolling through listings, going to open houses. And then you find it, the one. The perfect yard, that amazing kitchen, but then that little voice creeps into the back of your head and says, okay, but will the bank actually say yes?
Well, a huge piece of that puzzle, that anxiety, it all comes down to this one quiet but incredibly powerful decision maker working behind the scenes. And no, it's not just your credit score or how much you've saved for a down payment. It's a simple little ratio, just a piece of math that tells a massive story about your finances.
So let's pull back the curtain on what I like to call the lender's secret number. Now, it's not really a secret, of course, but it has way more power than most people realize. And understanding it, that's what's going to give you a serious edge.
It's called your debt-to-income ratio. You'll hear people call it DTI for short. And you know what? At its core, it's actually super simple. It's just a snapshot that compares all the money going out for your debts each month to all the money coming in from your paycheck. That's it. But believe me, that simple comparison is everything.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What does this number actually mean? We're going to break down the simple math that, honestly, has a surprisingly huge impact on where you're headed financially.
First things first, you got to look at the debt side of this equation. It's pretty straightforward. You just need to gather up all of your recurring monthly debt payments and add them all together into one single number.
So what are we talking about here? What counts as debt? Well, think about all those fixed payments you have to make every single month. We're talking minimum credit card payments, your car loan, of course, student loans, any personal loans you might have. You get the idea. It's the grand total of all those monthly promises you've made. All right, once you have that total monthly debt number, the next step is to divide it by your gross monthly income. And listen, this part is super important. We're talking about your gross income. That's your total paycheck before they take out taxes or anything else. It's that top line number.
So, to put it all together, here it is. Step 1, add up your monthly debts. Step 2, divide that number by your gross monthly income, and boom, step 3, that's your DTI ratio. It's usually a percentage, and it's a piece of math you can literally do on your phone's calculator right now.
So, what's the magic number? Well, for most lenders, this is the goalpost. Generally speaking, they really want to see a DTI ratio below 43%. Now, are there exceptions? Sure. Some loan programs, like FHA loans, can be a little more flexible. But hitting that 43% or lower, that puts you in the absolute best position to get a yes.
Now let's shift gears for a second and try to see this whole thing from the lender's perspective. Why do they care so much about this one little number? Let's try to put on their glasses and see your finances the way they do.
This is probably the most important thing to understand. Think of it like this. Your credit score? That's your financial history. It tells the story of your past, how good you've been at paying your bills over the years. But your DTI? That tells a story about your present reality. It shows how much of your paycheck is already spoken for right now. Lenders need to see both to get the full picture. And from their point of view, it's pretty black and white. When they see a lower DTI, they think, okay, this person manages their money well. They've got room in their budget for a mortgage. But a higher DTI, that sends up a little red flag. It tells them your budget might already be stretched pretty thin, which makes a new loan seem a bit more risky.
And trust me, the benefits of keeping that DTI in check, they're huge. You're not just more likely to get approved. You often get access to way better loan options with lower interest rates. The whole approval process is just smoother. And you get to go house hunting with a ton more confidence.
Okay, I know this can all feel a little abstract just talking about numbers, so let's look at a real-life story from a homebuyer right here in Taunton. It's an amazing example of how one small focus shift can completely change the game.
So this is where their story kicks off, with that gut punch feeling of being so close, but not quite making it. Their pre-approval was denied, all because their DTI was just a couple of percentage points over the line. You can imagine how frustrating that was.
But here's the cool part. Instead of giving up, they got strategic. They didn't try to solve all their financial problems at once. They just did two simple, focused things. First, they got really aggressive about paying down one specific credit card. And second, they completely wiped out a small personal loan.
And the result? It was incredible. In just a few months, those two small changes lowered their total monthly debt just enough to get their DTI into that healthy range. They went back, reapplied, and got approved for an even better loan than they had originally hoped for.
See, this story proves you are not powerless in this process. So let's wrap this up by talking about how you can take the wheel, take control of your own story, and unlock that door to your dream home.
And you have to remember, this is about so much more than just checking a box for a lender. Every dollar of debt you pay down isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's creating real, actual breathing room in your own life. It's about that feeling of freedom.
And when you take those steps, you're also sending a really powerful message to lenders. You're showing them that you're competent with your finances, you're proving that you're practical, and most of all, you're signaling that you are absolutely ready for the responsibility of owning a home.
So as we finish up here, I really want you to think about this differently. Your debt-to-income ratio isn't some scary final grade on your financial report card. It's not a judgment. Just think of it as a snapshot, a picture of your current financial story, and it's a tool that you can absolutely use to your advantage.
And that brings us right to the final question. You now know what DTI is, how you calculate it, and exactly why it matters so much. It tells a story that you are actively writing, right now, every single month. So the only question left is, what story do you want yours to tell?